Hi, my name is Noran Fouad, and I'm a postdoctoral researcher at the Blavatnik School of Government in the University of Oxford. And in this video, I'm going to introduce my article that has been recently published in the Review of International Studies, entitled The Non-anthropocentric Informational Agents, Codes, Software, and the Logic of Emergence in Cybersecurity. Many hostile cyber operations in the last few years have been conducted through self-propagating malicious software, which is malware that spreads itself automatically among information systems. In these operations, even if the malware has a particular target that was specified by the attacker, it may still spread in ways that are unpredictable and potentially also cause unintended consequences. So for example, the WannaCry ransomware in 2017, which encrypted data on a large number of computers in 150 countries and demanded ransom payments. Although it was not targeted at the health sector, the National Health Services in the UK, or the NHS, was significantly hit by it. And thereafter, the health sector was brought to the forefront of scholarly and policy discussions on cybersecurity. Similarly, the NotPetya, which was considered the costliest cyber attack in history, was also not primarily financially motivated, but as widely believed now, it was launched by the Russian government in order to disrupt government institutions in Ukraine. So these and other examples that I discuss in the article of cyber operations that produce unintended and unpredictable consequences problematize the concept of agency in the study of cybersecurity. This is particularly because for many years, cybersecurity has been theorized in the literature by focusing on human agency and by analyzing discourses and threat representations, which are necessarily tied to a human actor. So in this article, I argue that in order to theorize and unpack the complexities of cyber operations, particularly autonomous cyber attacks and ones that involve self-propagating malware, we need to look beyond human agency and discourses towards a study of the materialities of cybersecurity. This should be done not just by widening our scope to include non-state actors alongside the state, or just by studying the contextual influences that shape cybersecurity discourses, as already done in many literature, but importantly also by focusing on the agency of codes and software as such, and how they co-produce the logics and politics of cybersecurity. So in the article, I analyze codes and software as manifestation of information in its syntactic form, and therefore I conceptualize them as informational agents. And I build on recent scholarship on the philosophy of information and software studies in order to investigate the complexities of codes and software, their self-organizing capacities, and their autonomous properties that are most relevant to the making of cybersecurity. By doing so, the article ultimately develops an understanding of cybersecurity as emergent security, which is an analytical framework that I introduce in order to theoretically capture the limitations of human control and intentionality in managing cybersecurity environments. By approaching this question of non-human agency in cybersecurity, the article contributes to new materialist and post-humanist debates in critical security studies by arguing that codes and software are not just another type of non-human things, and that they possess a peculiar agency that distinguish them from ordinary matter. So here I discuss, for example, the modes of production of codes and software, how they are engineered, their complexities, the uncertainties surrounding their operations, etc. And I then specifically focus on the malicious use of codes and software in the form of malware and analyze two ways in which their agency can be examined in cybersecurity. The first is how, by propagating across information systems, malware co-identifies the actors of interest that are entitled with taking the necessary measures to counter an ongoing cyber attack or incident. And the second point I discuss is the way malware co-shapes who is considered an enemy in cyber incidents. And I also argue that in immediate responses against a hostile cyber operation, attribution to a human actor may not be so central as the enemy becomes the vulnerability that is being exploited on the system and the malware. This non-human reading of cybersecurity, of course, has implications on the way we analyze some cyber defense strategies adopted by states, particularly active cyber defense or defend forward, which are operations that may include practices like hacking adversaries or allies' information systems, either for intelligence gathering or planning for future disruptive operations, etc. So acknowledging the emergent nature of cybersecurity, it challenges this idea of human control that is implicit in such understanding of defense. And also acknowledging that the immediate adversary in cyber incidents is the vulnerability and the malware rather than the human initiator also calls for prioritizing the production of secure by design codes over instrumentalizing such codes in hacking into other countries' systems as part of defensive strategies. That's it. Thank you very much for watching. This was a brief summary of the article. If you'd like to know more, please check the article in the Review of International Studies.